Hello, Wednesday. This is Northeast Wisconsin Bureau Chief Lisa Hale, and because it's Wednesday, Karen Schneider from the Oshkosh Herald is with us today. How are you doing, Karen?
I'm doing well, Lisa. Happy Wednesday.
And to
Hump
you,
day.
too.
Here we go.
If you want to read the Herald, what are the things to look for this week?
So on our front page, there's a really great story about a program that's through the Oshkosh School District called Project Life. It's kind of an extension from Project Surge. And what they do is they take children, students with disabilities here in the school district, and they teach them work and life skills so that after they graduate, they can join the workforce. You know, and these are kids that most likely are not going to go on to the university or tech school or anything like that, but they are being worked with one-on-one, and the program is set to hold 12 students. Right now there's 10. There's 5 from Oshkosh West and 5 from Oshkosh North that are in the program, and they meet out at the Oshkosh YMCA for their classes and their job coaches. But then there are 3 businesses here in Oshkosh that they intern at and they have jobs at. Yeah. And I'm going to give a shout out to Buffalo Wild Wings, Goodwill, and the YMCA, because that's where these students are working on developing those life skills. And, you know, in full transparency, my buddy Gus is part of this too. And he works at Buffalo Wild Wings. And it's just so awesome to watch him grow. As you know, he's given this opportunity to be mainstream, basically, right?
Right.
So what's really cool about this program, and not to give it all away, but they're also turning these students into entrepreneurs. So, you know, there's the food truck that they have, but now they're also making products like these dog mats, and they sell these dog mats and different things. So it's a really nice story. Again, it's on page 1 in today's Oshkosh Herald, talking about this program and how they're developing and giving the skills to these students.
Is this the first year for this program?
I believe it's the second.
Okay.
I'd have to look again, but it's actually a national model, and it's in 14 states. And I stand corrected. It started in Oshkosh 6 years ago.
I was going to say, this sounds a little bit like a program that my son might have been involved in. Full transparency, my son's on the autism spectrum. So, you know, and it's so important to give them these skills so they transitioned into adulthood. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
You know, and they're treating them, you know, they're making sure they're taking those classes in reading and math and, you know, that financial literacy and so forth that students have. They may not be at the level of most graduates, but they're going to have that skill set to be able to support themselves and have that job and that employment.
I love that. I'm looking forward to that story. So, but while that's a good news story, you have a little bit of an off news story today too?
There is, and this one caught me off guard actually, because it was written by Michael Cooney, who's a freelance photographer, and he's been contributing photos for us since we started way back in 2018. But this is on Rasmussen's Apple Acres, and how, you know, this could be a final season, which again, I was caught off guard, but owner Tom Lurvy, who's 80 and has been tending the orchard for nearly 2 decades, you know, is basically saying it's not paying for itself. Where it may need $20,000 in revenue, you know, it might be making 10. Not as many families are going out there to pick apples and so forth. But, you know, this is one of those things that when it's gone, you miss it. So again, it's in today's Oshkosh Herald. But if you were looking for something to do with your family, I would highly recommend taking a trip out to Rasmussen's and doing some apple picking.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe we can get it to go one more year and so forth. But so that was a little sad, you know, for me to read and realize it. But again, as a small business owner, I understand that as well. And that's a hard decision when these things have been in there for generations. And, you know, his granddaughter is quoted in here. Would she love to keep it going? Absolutely. But is it sustainable?
Right.
You know, so that's the other thing in there too. But it's a good local story, but really talking about how their future is uncertain, and it's the economics of everything.
And that's just it. It's the economics of everything. You can't continue a business if that balance is not there, if you're not getting as much as you're putting out.
Exactly. And, the apples may be red, but you can't run in the red. Okay.
I love that. So, that's a great way to put it.
And I know there's a lot of local businesses around that are basically sustaining the business to keep it going without having that profit on the other side. And a lot of them are, most of them are local. And that's why, we always say support local, right? Because when it's gone, folks,
Yep. And it won't come back usually.
Exactly. If the orchard goes away, all you have to do is close your eyes and envision what will go there. It's great land, right? But it's also been out there for decades. We go out there and pick apples and
one of the things that we don't do too often here at WISS is local sports. We just don't have the team, but you do at the Oshkosh Herald. So tell me what you got sports-wise.
So I'm just going to shout out Steve Clark there because he's our sports guy and he does a fabulous job.
Yes, he does.
This is actually a community call out. And the Titans volleyball team is looking to set an attendance record on community night. Now, if you've never gone to watch these young women play volleyball, you are missing it to begin with because they are champions, right? They put on a competitive show and they're fantastic. But the match is set to start this Friday at 7 p.m. at Colf. Admission is free, but they are looking to try to get the record is 3,517 people set in 2012. In 2023, when they did this, they drew over 2,700 people. So, it's free attendance. It's great competitive volleyball to watch. So that's Friday night. So if you don't have plans or if you do have plans, go a little early, go a little later, but make it to Colf at 7:00 this Friday.
That sounds like a blast. Where can we pick up the Herald? Where can we view it?
You can find it at OshkoshHerald.com or visit your your local grocery stores, Quick Trips, BPs, and you can find us there as well.
Karen, thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you. For WISS, I'm Northeast Wisconsin Bureau Chief Lisa Hale, and today I'm joined by Yava Engel, who is the Executive Director of the Oshkosh Area Humane Society. Hi, Yava.
Hello.
We have got to talk about the Walk for the Animals. You guys had a very successful fundraising event this month in September. So tell me a little bit of how that went.
Oh, Lisa, it went really, really well. We had, this whole campaign around our Walk for the Animals is something that we start planning on early on in the summer. And we're raising funds for our medical care because every animal that comes into the shelter gets medical care. So it's not just the ones that are sick. Every single one gets microchipped, vaccinated. And of course, those that need medical care, additional medical care, receive that as well. So we fundraise every year. And this year we had a goal set that was a record high goal of $65,000. And I'm super thrilled to tell you that we exceeded our goal. Our preliminary final fundraising total is $68,400.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. So you met your goal and exceeded it by over $3,000. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So I know there were a lot of people that helped you put this together and came together to work for the animals. Can you tell a little bit about the volunteers and stuff?
Oh, absolutely. And it's our staff are really focused on this event as well and planning it out. And then we always need volunteers to, well, first off, to distribute the signs, put up signs so people know that we're doing the Walk for the Animals. Our volunteers help us fundraise through pledges from their friends and family. And then, of course, at the event itself, we have so many different booths and activities for kids, and we always need volunteers to help with that.
So this is something that if you didn't get to help out this year, because it's past this year and you've done such a good job, maybe next year, if somebody really wants to get involved and help, they could.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I would just urge them to sign up pretty early if they are not a current volunteer, because we send out to current volunteers our asks to see who is interested in helping. But if they are not a volunteer yet, they can apply. I would probably urge doing that in the spring and just upfront identify that you'd be very interested in helping with the walk. It's a lot of fun. So definitely we are super excited to welcome anyone.
Absolutely. So that event, fantastic event. You've raised a lot of money. And I do want to go back and mention that this is all, as you said, for medical care for the pets. And I think maybe people don't think about that each animal that comes through, you don't know their vaccination history. So they all have to be vaccinated.
Absolutely.
You don't know their medical history. So they have to be looked over. They have to be assessed. Some of them need dental work badly.
Absolutely. Yes.
Some have injuries. Some have upper respiratory infections, kennel cough, all sorts of different
Chronic
things.
conditions as well, diabetes, kidney issue. Yes, various chronic conditions too.
And this money all goes to help pay for those.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Medical care is expensive. Medical and surgical supplies have become much more expensive. So, of course, that cost increases year over year.
Pets get older.
They do.
And as they get older, they sometimes run into different problems. The older the animal, the more likely they are to have dental
Just like
problems.
human beings. Just like human beings, yes.
Exactly. Really. I have a very old Chihuahua. He's about, we figure 14, 15 years old. And I can see on some mornings that he's just slow and doesn't feel good. And I'm like, dude, I'm right there with you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So these older pups and these older cats and older even bunnies and whatnot that you guys get, the Oshkosh Area Humane Society recently got a grant.
Yes, we did. Specifically for medical care for senior animals.
And it was the Gray Muzzle Grant, I think is what it was called.
And we do special blood work for our seniors. And so, especially for dogs, if we're looking at what is a senior, so it's really 7 years plus. And there are so many animals that come in at that age that either come in as strays, where we can as best guesstimate how old the animal is. But we also get a lot of surrenders due to the hardships right now, financial hardships out there. So for those animals that we know are elderly and they have a birth date, so to speak, all of those get the senior care as well.
And this Gray Muzzle Grant, how much of a grant did you guys get? Do you know?
We get $11,000.
Well, that's still, that helps a lot.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. And many of these seniors also need dental care. And as you know, dental care, those are long procedures. So it takes our veterinarian quite some time to go through those, and it pays for that. So we're extremely grateful. They are wonderful, wonderful partners for us.
Do you guys do anything special to adopt out the elderly animals that you might have at the Oshkosh Area Humane Society?
We do. We try to focus a lot of our marketing and kind of social media exposure on these seniors, because seniors really make wonderful, wonderful pets. They really do. And so it's promoting them in social media. We also, a lot of times, we have very low to no adoption costs on these senior animals. We also have a lot of times folks who sponsor adoption fees. For dogs specifically, our cats don't have adoption fees at all. Regardless of age, all we ask for is that the adopter pay for microchip and for the vaccine. But other than that, we really, we do not have adoption costs for cats, but for dogs we do. And these senior dogs, a lot of the time we have the fees sponsored by somebody, a donor or an organization. And I want to give specifically a shout out to Pete's Garage Bar, who now are sponsoring adoption fees and food and toys for many of our long-termers. So they are wonderful to work with.
They absolutely, you got to give Pete's Garage props for anything.
Yes,
I just absolutely love them. They're so irreverent and just so much fun in the community, but they really care about the community
absolutely. We're so grateful. I couldn't tell you enough.
So if somebody is interested in adopting a senior pet or helping out at the shelter, where do they go? What can they do?
They can go to our website, oahs.org, and they can see the volunteer opportunities and the available animals, and we always list the age of the animal as well. Or if they have very specific questions, they can always email to info@oahs.org, And then I'm typically the one who is addressing all those emails, and I can direct them to the right person.
Absolutely. Java Engel, thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. Love coming here.